Hi everyone, it's Amanda. How are you doing? It's the 28th of January 2019. Frustrating. I've just tried to do a video and I tried to do it as a live stream and it hasn't worked basically. The connection is not good in the house today. So I've come and set up here and I thought, well, I'll just do a little video, which is not going to be perfect, but maybe we'll just be able to talk about a few of the issues that I was going to try and bring up in a longer video, and we'll come back to it another day. Maybe today's just not the right day. So it's Monday. There's an awful lot going on energetically at the moment, and it's almost a case of where to start with the collective actually right now. What I was trying to do with the video that just hasn't wanted to be done is I was trying to look again at the Doreen Virtue situation, because I've had some emails and messages in from you today about it. A couple over the weekend, people who've spent a lot of money doing her courses and now feel as though they just can't, don't know what to do with it all. And a message in particular that prompted me this morning that came in on my Facebook private message, somebody very, very conflicted in America and who is feeling very derailed and scared by a lot of the information that is now being pumped out by Doreen. And it's like with a real heavy heart I'm coming back to talk about it again, because I've already done 2 videos on this subject and I will put the links in the description box below. So if you haven't watched them, just, have another look at what I've already said, because I don't really want to repeat myself. But equally, I feel as though I'm being asked by Spirit to just be there for people that are feeling conflicted and derailed by all of this. And what's prompted it is there is an article that's just gone up on Doreen's website, which she calls an A to Z of New Age practices to avoid. It has got everything in there from astrology to chakras, healing, sweat lodges, yoga, channeling, of course, angels, ascended masters, meditation, mindfulness, dream catchers. Just trying to remember what else is in there. There's 13 pages of it. I just printed it out. 13 pages of stuff to avoid. And Harry Potter. Harry Potter didn't surprise me actually. Not that there's anything wrong with Harry Potter, but my children used to go to a Church of England primary school years ago. And I remember one of the mums down there throwing up her hands in horror when somebody said that their child was reading Harry Potter. And I thought, what, really? But anyway, yeah, so there is a continual bashing of what we believe by this particular individual. And what I was trying to express is a few things to say. This is just simply, guys, the latest persecution energy that is manifesting slightly differently, but that has existed across this planet for centuries. In the Middle Ages, it was much worse because you probably would have been burnt at a stake for believing what you believe. They don't do that anymore, but they now have the internet actually, which they didn't have in the Middle Ages. And actually the internet can do an awful lot of good, but it can also do an awful lot of harm. And what it's doing at the moment, what her energy is doing at the moment, and she's perfectly free to believe whatever she wants to believe, as are her followers. I do not have any problem with that whatsoever. What I feel is unfair, and that's a choice word I'm using there, unfair, because I'm not I'm not angry about it at all, actually. I'm not even particularly triggered about it. I'm only doing this video because I feel I'm being asked to for other people, because I genuinely am not triggered by it anymore. I look at it and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that, right, yes. There were a few surprises on there, on her list of things that we're not supposed to do, but most of them I just thought, yeah, I thought you probably would say that. But it is just the latest example of persecution of a belief that, or beliefs that you don't agree with. We are entering an age, whether people like her like it or not, which is going to be about unity consciousness, mass awakenings, and the move towards a divine connection with God stroke source that you are able to have without the intervention of a third party who tells you what to do. We are entering the age of discernment, and it is long overdue. The timing of all of this with the likes of Doreen is really interesting. If you just look at it, take all the emotion out of it. Let's just look at it. We are approaching times of mass awakening. Many of us have been awake for decades, but we know that in the lead up to 2020, the number of, want of a better word, light workers is going to be expanding hugely, hugely. We will reach a tipping point whereby enough people have had the blindfolds taken off, are able to feel into their own connection to their own divinity, discerning what is right, what is the truth, as well as being tolerant of everybody else's beliefs. You're not trying to convert anybody or drag anybody in. This is something that's a very personal, individual awakening process, but there are many people going through it at the same time. There will be a tipping point, and we're getting near it. We're not there yet. And as we get near it, we find this pull, this magnetic pull of some who are talking fear to keep us small and disempowered. The A to Z that she's got up, one of the E's that is wrong is empowerment. Think about that. You're being told that empowerment is wrong. Empowerment is wrong in her eyes. The energy that she's channeling into, wouldn't like that name channeling, but the energy that she's linked into is telling her that empowerment is wrong because you can't empower yourself. You have to go via a third party. You have to go via a church pastor or a church counsellor. Of course, God, but God, no one's trying to bypass God here. No one's trying to bypass God. There's a point where I can't really take it too seriously, but I am taking it seriously because I know it's upsetting a lot of people. I feel as though we're being asked to transcend it, though. And the thing is, when you have transcended it, you don't really take it seriously because you read it and you just see it for what it is. It's something that is trying to pull you back into fear, that you are doing it wrong, that you are believing the wrong thing, and that if you don't convert and change, and actually she uses the words get on your knees, you are damned. If you are in a vulnerable position and you're feeling alone or weak, then I could imagine that maybe being told what to do, I'm going to tell you what to do, and if you do it, you're going to feel better. Maybe that's an attractive place to be, but it's not an empowered place to be. And it's not the way of the future. The way of the future is about linking into our own higher self, our own wisdom, our own discernment, our own power. And sure, that can be frightening at times, because it's like, where are the safety ropes? Well, the safety ropes are actually all around you. That may well take the form of Archangel Metatron, or it may take the form of a crystal. Crystals also being something that is, you know, not good, according to the likes of who we're talking about. So take away all the props. They're not props though. They're objects of beauty. How can you hold a crystal? This is a beautiful amethyst point, and think that this somehow is linked into evil. It's trying to derail you. It's the devil's work. It's nonsense. Let's start calling it out for what it is, but not in a way that we start a fight. It's just about standing up for what you believe within yourself. Some of the emails that have come in to me recently on this whole subject, I almost would like to say in response to that, well, because it's like, well, Doreen's saying this now, so is it true? Where are you in that? Where are you in that? Would you follow somebody over the side of a cliff because they said it was the right thing to do? I hope to God the answer's no. What's more sacred than your connection with the divine? And who ultimately can tell you that anyway? Nobody can. It has to come from you. What do you feel? A common thing that's being said at the moment as well with regard to the archangels, let's take Metatron as an example, is, you know, they are it's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. Is that the right way around? Yeah. You know, it's not really Metatron, it's not really Archangel Michael, it's not Gabriel, it's actually the devil in disguise. They're just hoodwinking you. Really? How come I feel nothing but peace then when I am with them? How come they only show me love? How come they only ever teach tolerance? How come they're trying to make me be the best version of myself I can be in this lifetime? And then when I fail, pick me up and say, try again. Does that sound like the devil's energy to you? It doesn't to me, because it isn't. And where is Christ in all of this? Tolerating all of it is what he's saying, because he loves all of us equally. He loves the one that's pressing the fundamentalist agenda, and he loves the person who is derailed by it, and he loves the person who's transcended it, and he sees all as equal. How beautiful is that? Look at the timing of this. Look at why it's happening. We are reaching critical mass awakening points in time. This was always going to happen. There was always going to be somebody. It's not even about her. She's just one person who's very vocal and will continue to be very vocal. I'm not going to come on and do videos every time she does something else. I've already done 3. That's more than enough. I've said my piece. I've tried to be there for people who are being upset by it. But ultimately, it has to be about your journey. And if you're triggered by it, by, for example, what she's saying, then that's something for you to work on. If you're angered by it, that's something for you to work on. If you mock it, that's something for you to work on. If you can send her love and compassion and forgiveness, but not from a place of moral high authority, that somehow I'm better than that, good. That's sort of where we're needing to be. But we're also very much needing to be together as a community to be there for those that are just starting to wake up, who are seeing this, who are confused by it. I would be confused. I would be confused if I was waking up now and say I've just watched a program on angels, okay, and I think, oh, okay, yeah, I'm quite interested in that. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll go and buy a book. And I walk into a bookshop and I still see all of Doreen's books there. And I pick it up and I think, oh, okay, yeah, I'm sort of resonating with this. This sounds okay. Yeah, okay. And then you come across something on the internet where she's saying, put that book down and burn it because it's like, that's the devil's work. Would you be confused? I would be. But I've got a few decades on from that now. I can see it very clearly for what it is. But a lot of people can't. So please be there for each other and support each other. And those of us that have been able to transcend it, that we're not really triggered or angered by it anymore, it's just, it's a bit of an annoyance more than anything, but it's certainly nothing I'm going to be investing my energy into. Help others that are in pain because of it, that are truly conflicted with it. How do you know that something is of the light? Because you feel it. You feel it. With every ounce of your being. Does it make me feel at peace? I mean, come on. I work with Archangel Metatron. He's one of the toughest guides out there. And I've said so many times, he will push you out of comfort zone. And when you're being pushed out of the comfort zone, it doesn't feel particularly joyous sometimes. It's like, oh God, I don't like this. But it's because where he's wanting to take you to is better. He never takes you backward. He never takes you back. He never says, well, you just stay in that pain for as long as you want to, if you want. He will be trying to push you out of it. And that's hard sometimes, because the truth is, there is no magic wand. What you're being asked to do is to help yourself. He's there as a support, but he's there to empower you. That's the whole point of it. He's empowering you to link into your own divinity, your own power, and be that. As would Christ, as would any of them. The only thing that triggered me, I will say there was one of her things on the A to Z that did trigger me. And that's something I'm going to carry on working on. I can't remember how what it was under. I think it could have been under deities and I think it was under deities. But it's written in such a way as it felt as though, it could certainly be read as though, it felt quite, I want to use the word racist, but I mean, I'm not saying she is racist, but I'll give you an example. I remember when I went out to Thailand years and years ago, and we went visiting temples, and it was fascinating because, you know, they have these deities, which I can't even remember what it was that we were looking at, but, you know, people were bringing flowers and there was a lot of ceremonial energy with regard to what the belief was. And I didn't understand it necessarily. It wasn't my thing, but I would never judge it. I would never in a million years think, oh, no. It says here in my book that that's not allowed, so you're wrong. That to me has such cultural impropriety. I really didn't like that one. So that's something I've still got to work on. Because she triggered me there with that one. But a lot of the other stuff, yeah. Harry Potter, astrology, chakras, really? The point is that there is only one movement and it's going forward. We're not going backward as a species. We're going forward. Let's put it this way. I want to be on the train that's moving out of the station, okay, and is going somewhere. Not the train that's just parked and stationary. It's the difference between the two energies. But we shouldn't judge it. We shouldn't be angered by it. We shouldn't be triggered by it. If we are, we are, okay? And then we work on that. So yeah, I didn't like what she was talking about in terms of, it just felt disrespectful. It just felt hugely disrespectful to other religions and other traditions and other cultures, which we may very well not understand. It might not be our belief system. But who the hell are we? Who the hell is anybody to look at any other culture and say, oh, no, no, no. That's the devil's work. Because that word devil is through a lot of her writing. All of these practices, this crystal, Metatron's cube is cited. Sacred geometry is cited. She doesn't actually cite colour therapy, but anyway, won't give her any more tips for any other ones to put in there. But, you know, as I say, 13 pages of things you're not supposed to do, most of which a lot of us probably do, and help us to connect. That's the problem with it. They're helping us to connect to source energy, to Christ, to Metatron, to the violet flame. There's a problem with that because there's no third party there. In some people's eyes. Not in my eyes. Not in your eyes, probably. So be there for our community. I'm hearing don't be a doormat, okay? But equally, you don't need to pick up your spear and go off to battle and fight. That would just be the last thing that Christ, angels, spirit would want. They want us to be at peace. You see, even the peace symbol was one that was cited as something that's wrong in the A to Z. I'm just being reminded of what's in there. I've actually ripped it up, to be honest, and put it in my bin because I printed it out to make the video. And then I thought, well, I don't need to hold on to this energy. It's not my truth. Keep strong. All is well. Let's pull a card for the day, shall we? It's a lovely day here. Card for today. Monday the 28th. That is where we are heading. The Empress, the energy of the divine feminine. How beautiful is that? She's bountiful, she's abundant, she has room for everybody at her table, of every denomination, of every creed, of every colour. She doesn't put any barriers or barriers around herself. She's freely accessible. She's the true mother energy. And she's wise. And she understands. And she's holding a light bulb. Can you see that? She's holding a light bulb. It's like, they've got it at last. She's like a light in the darkness. I want to say she's the female face of Christ. Well, that would really set them off if I said that, but I'm going to say it. The female face of Christ. I think I'll upload this video to YouTube as well, so hello YouTube. I hope you can hear me okay. I will try and do another video, a longer video this week. But for today, I think this is probably going to suffice. Anything else to say about the Empress? She just feels like a beacon of hope and light and love. That's where we're heading. We are not heading back into the dark ages. Love to all. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.